Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the KP Podcast. This is the podcast where we'll be talking to bands. Hopefully you get to know some of these bands a little bit more if you didn't know them already. Today, talking to a guy I've known for a while. He's been in this band for a while. You guys know him in the music scene. His name is Bryan Long of the band Dealey Plaza. How you doing today, Bryan?
I am awesome. How you doing, man?
Not bad today, not bad. They got you working still.
Hell yeah.
And that's what you're doing right now.
Currently at work right now.
So, if you didn't know, Bryan is a UPS driver, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And this is what he's doing while we're doing this podcast, a little 2-in-1 here. So who all is in Dealey Plaza right now, and where are you guys from?
As of right now, it is me, Bryan Long, obviously, vocals. Patrick Finster is on guitar. Raymond Charles is on guitar, Brandon Thrift on drums, and Ryan Tregay on bass. And we are all from Florida, just all over Florida, though. We're in Tampa, Orlando, and predominantly Southwest Florida, like Naples.
Just all over. Okay, cool. I've known you guys. I've known about you guys for a long time. When did this band begin?
Oh man, I want to say 2012. As far as I can remember.
Really?
This is like when we first started. I could be wrong, but I feel that feels right.
It feels right, you know. Okay.
So I would say, yeah. I want to say it was September of either 2011 or 2012, but 2012 sounds correct.
Okay, so it's been 8 years. You guys have had some releases, some lineup changes, stuff like that. Can you guys talk a little bit about each of these earlier releases?
Yeah, I could try my best, to be honest, because it's predominantly just me. Well, we started, like I said, I'm going to go with 2012 for the sake of the conversation here.
Okay.
So 2012, we put out a 4-song self-titled EP, and obviously we were a completely different band at that time. And then just a few months later, we added Dickie Allen from Infant Annihilator now into our band as a secondary vocalist. We took those 4 songs and put them onto a full length, which was titled The Masonic Diaries. And then shortly after that, he joined the band called Abiotic, and we had to then write another record because everything that we had was based off of 2 vocalists. So then we put out Provoke the Human, which just prior to releasing that, we had signed to We Are Triumphant. Because every band was signing to We Are Triumphant at that time.
Yes, and that's when I discovered you guys.
Yeah, and that was like, I feel like when like a lot of people started to catch who we were. And we dropped that label maybe only 2 or 3 months after we put that out. And then what else did we? And we put out another full-length, Deliver Us, which is still my favorite release of ours still to this date. And then we lost pretty much everybody except for like me and Jesse. And then we regrouped with Chris Whited, who's now in Body Snatcher, and Kyle Carter, who's now in Body Snatcher. And we put out a record called Culture and Circumstances. And then everything fell apart. And then I picked all these guys up and we just dropped a record called AD.
Very nice. So I asked about that because I wanted to talk a little bit about them. When do you think the band really started to get noticed by the metal community? Now, you did get picked up by We Are Triumphant. That's when I discovered you guys. But then right after that, you put out Deliver Us, which is one of your favorite albums, which is also one of my favorite albums. And I listen to it a lot as well to this day. So when do you think everyone started really recognizing who you guys were?
I would say it was definitely around the time that we had put out that record, but I think it also had something to do with the fact that 3 out of 5 of the bandmates joined King Conquer at that time as well. So me and Jesse and Riley, our drummer at the time, were all also playing in King Conquer. So I think because we were on that platform, people started to like see that we all also played in this other band and started checking our other band out, which was like our main focus was always Dealey. So I think like those two, the combination of signing to that label and then being in a bigger known band like that is really what kind of made people notice who we were.
And another thing that some people might recognize you guys from, and I can't remember the title of it, but back when you were a 2-vocalist band, there was this tour documentary that came out with you guys when you went on tour with 6 Feet Under. Do you remember that time?
Yes. That's actually, I believe that's still on YouTube as well, too.
Yes,
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, that was, we still get, like, I'll still randomly get kids that are like, that was a cool ass documentary, dude. I was like, cool, thank you. I didn't even know it was being made. It was just like a buddy with us to filming shit. And we thought he was just filming shit to film shit, essentially.
Right. Do you remember anything from that big tour with 6 Feet Under? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was probably one of the bigger tours you went on, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. We were spoiled little kids for that one too. At the time we were just so young and naive. We were like, yeah, because we were only a band for 6 months at that time. And we got asked to go on tour with 6 Feet Under and Decrepit Birth. And that was just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Right.
But our drummer at the time, Riley, his uncle is Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse and now 6 Feet Under.
Oh, wow.
So because of that, his uncle came out and saw us play and really liked us. So the band Abiotic actually was supposed to be on that tour and not us. And Chris Barnes kicked them off of the tour and was paying us out of 6 Feet Under's guarantee to be on that tour. So that's how we got on that one. But like every tour we've done after that, it was always more like personable because we were with bands that made more sense for us to be with.
Yeah.
But we've never fucking played venues like that ever again. Like we were playing these massive like theaters and shit, and you're only a band for 6 months. Like I was like, dude, we don't fucking belong here. Like this is crazy.
Right. And while we're talking through this interview, I'm going to be trying to find this documentary so I can tell people about it a little bit more. So now we're in 2020, and you guys have a new release called AD. We're going to be diving into more details about this album, but why this title?
It was because after we put out Culture and Circumstances, I'm not going to like dive into the whole bullshit of everything that happened, but Chris had already previously joined Body Snatcher. He was just doing both bands. But then we had a falling out with our guitarist, Jesse, and I thought it was like pretty damaging to our name, or I thought it was going to be damaging to our name. So I was like, well, I mean, you guys are both, like Kyle had been asked to join Body Snatcher as well, and Chris was already doing it. So I was like, why don't you guys just go and do that full time, and I'll just start like another band, and we'll just walk away from this instead of trying to like fix anything that this kid could have done wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after a little bit, I started a band with majority of the guys that were in that band play in Dealey now, actually. It was called Epilogue, and it was pretty much everybody that's in Dealey now, except for a buddy of ours named Draven, who plays in this really, really amazing band called Corpus. Check them out. And we were just doing that for a little bit, and then it like kind of occurred to me, like I was like, why the fuck did I stop playing? Like all these kids that liked my old band like still are like cool as shit with me. Like why did I stop doing that? So I was like, well, let's just start up this band again. You know what I mean? Like let's do the shit that we want to do and just kind of start over, And then everybody that was playing with me except for Draven was doing his thing. It was a whole thing anyways, but like I said, check out his band. They're awesome. My guitarist now, Patrick, plays in another band called Nail Wound, and he was recording with Chris, and I thought he was just brilliant. He's a phenomenal guitar player, really great vocalist, everything. I was like, I have to have this kid. Like, so that's like literally how it went. I was like, I need you. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, so we just got together, and the whole concept of AD is just like the after death. Like, I hung the towel on this band, and then I was like, never mind. Like, and that's just essentially what we were after. It's just like, it died, but we're bringing it back to life. It's like a new era of our band, a new sound, a new everything.
Right, that makes sense. And you guys went with 1776 recordings with Chris Whitehead as well with this. How did the band approach writing AD compared to previous releases?
This time it was really cool actually, because we usually, like, what we would do was Kirkbride would write everything, and then I would just come in at the end and just lay vocals down. And that was essentially it. Like, nobody really had a say in anything. And that was how it went up until the Culture and Circumstances record. Kyle Carter actually wrote that entirely, bless his heart. And so, like, this time around, it was cool because, like, you know, none of us record or anything like that. Like, I'm always, like, having somebody in my band that does recording shit and all that. So, like, we would just record it and write it. We wouldn't, like, organically sit around and jam and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, this time it was like everybody played a role. Everyone had a part because, like, a lot of it was jammed out. You know what I mean? Instead of just like, well, here's a song, like it or not, like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
Okay.
So it was a lot more like everybody had a say as opposed to just one person. And it just made it, everybody appreciates it more that way. I don't know. It was cool. It was different for me, that's for damn sure, but I liked it more.
Right. And what was the reception from fans for this album?
I mean, it seems okay. It's you know, it's one of those, like, we haven't really toured and stuff, you know, in a while, and so, like, there's, like, a little bit of, like, a calm, you know? Yeah. I don't know how to, like, really explain that. It's not like there's not as big of a following to us as there once was, which is, like, it's okay, but, like, you know, it is definitely, if you listen to the record right before this compared to this, it is, like, substantially different. So we weren't expecting everybody to follow over and be like, oh, fuck yeah, like another sick deathcore record. It's not how it is. So, I mean, other than that, it's been great. I know that. Like, I know the sales have been fairly good on this, and, like, kids are stoked whenever we play. There's definitely a lot more action at our shows now because it's, like, not so sporadic and all over the map. It's just, like, a very straightforward record. So that's been cool.
That is cool, and it does sound great as well. I mean, you let me listen to it a little bit early, which I appreciate, and I was very impressed with it, and I like this lineup, so keep going with that. But you guys aren't finished with music this year, right?
No, we were in the studio at 1776 again last week. Obviously, with everything going on right now, we stepped away for just a minute here to kind of let the chaos calm.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, like I said, everybody lives so far away and everybody has their jobs that it's, like, just too risky to put all these people in a room all personable like that, I suppose. Right. So we're stepping away for just a minute, but we have another 5-song EP coming out. I want to say at some point this summer. We don't have an actual set date, but that will be out this year as well. Just to have more music because we are not playing any of our old music anymore. So gotcha. I wanted as much new material as possible.
And isn't this going to be a little bit different from AD?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's like we wanted to test the waters with that one and see, like, you know, what kids liked the most out of that and, like, kind of go, because, like, we all liked it so much, like, we just wanted to see what was received the best.
Yeah.
So, like, we just kind of, in my opinion, it's definitely, like, a lot heavier. It's kind of going back to, like, instead of, like, the whole, like, hardcore elements of AD, it's going back towards a lot of, like, the heavier stuff. It's just, like, very dark and heavy, but it's still got a lot of, like, hardcore elements to it. It's just heavier, in my opinion, the new one.
Gotcha. So, we'll be on the lookout for that this summer. Will we ever see Dealey Plaza return to touring?
That is the ultimate goal, yes. We absolutely would love to get back out there. Like I said, when we dropped everything we had essentially kind of fell with it. I don't mean to sound like a pity party. It's not. I knew what was coming with that. But yeah, I mean, so long as we get something that we like and offer, and we've got, like, a few little things that we're definitely, like, looking into. I don't know what's going on because yet again, with everything happening right now, it's a little bit chaotic. But there have been a few offers and things that we are interested in. So the goal is to, 100% start touring as much as possible again.
Okay, that's good news. A little bit of fire under the flame there. Is there anything you want to say to fans wrapping everything up here?
Just thank you guys for being awesome and following my band for all these years and just remaining loyal, awesome fans. Like, for real, I cannot stress it enough. It's been very, very heartwarming to see how many people still give a shit.
Very well said, Bryan. I'm going to be talking to you here in a little bit off air. Thank you for your time today. You stay safe out there, okay?
Perfect. You too. Thank you.
No problem. Talk to you here in a second. That's Bryan Long from the band Dealey Plaza. They have a brand new album called AD that's out right now, and I found this tour documentary you guys got to check out. It's 7 years old. It's called Dealey Plaza on the Road, full documentary. Search it up on YouTube. It's about 50 minutes long, and I remember watching it. It takes you through a band in a van going across the bottom part of the United States with the big death metal icons 6 feet under, a few other bands on that bill as well. It shows you some struggles. It shows you the goods and the bads and the ups and downs. You got to check that out. You got to see what bands go through. It's really eye-opening. It's a really good, really well-made documentary. So check that out. Check out the full AD album. Check out the full band of Dealey Plaza and their whole discography. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the KP Podcast. Another thank you to Bryan Long for coming on today. I'm KP. You guys stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys next time.